Welcome to Cut to the Chase podcast. Listen, sometimes you just make mistakes, right? I was talking for about 5 minutes, and I went through the whole nice spiel of who of introducing the guest I have today. And go 5 minutes in, I didn't even hit the record button. So what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is that sometimes you just make mistakes. But if you catch them early, you can save the day. So a lesson to be learned, it's okay to make mistakes, but try not to make them in front of a professional MMA fighter. Today's Cut to the Chase podcast episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm here with my good friend, John Doomsday Howard. John, thank you for being here, number one, for the second time. I just said.
Second time already. Thank you for having me, man. Honestly, I'm honored, man. I'm honored to be here, man, and have this, man. This experience is, we're going to have some good fun today, man. I love it. Actually, that mistake, that's a good start, man. It relaxes the move, So, like I said, it can't always be perfect. So, mistakes are made, but you recognize them. We kept going for it. So, that's the way it is, man. And I love it.
Yeah, you said a big thing there. And we'll definitely go, we'll recircle back to that because I think what you just said is a very, very important thing. And it's actually knowing you and what you've, accomplished and being in the world of fighting and, other things. That's a particular mentality you just got to have, right? There's nothing you can't substitute that with anything else. You have to have a fast forward type of mentality, right?
Yeah, definitely in this fighting world, man. It's sometimes very unforgiving. So you have to have this mentality, to keep pushing forward and everything. Everything doesn't work out in your favor all the time, but you go in there knowing that just in case it does happen not in your favor, that I'm coming back stronger and harder. So never keep stopping. My theory is even when there's bumps in the ropes, get through those bumps, but keep going forward.
Yeah. It's easier said than done, though, sometimes, isn't it?
I agree 100%, especially in this MMA game. It's way easier than done. Trust me. I'm talking positive, but don't catch me in the moment. I'm not like that. I'm like, hey, got my face. I'm going through something right now.
Yeah.
But no,
I think most people would probably get that from you since your name is Doomsday. It's hard to it's hard to kind of come up to a person that you're seeing is having a bad day that's named Doomsday and be like, hey man, stop being a wimp, keep going. I'd be like, he's going through things. I'll come back, we'll revisit this a little later.
I love it. Like Doomsday, what's wrong? Nothing. Okay, well, keep going.
I always wanted to ask you this question.
Yeah.
When you have a name like Doomsday, how does that make you feel when people call you Doomsday? Because obviously, I'm sure people call you John, but most, people who love you and are fans of you, and there's a lot of them. They know me as Doomsday, and as a, I've always wanted to ask you, how does that kind of just make you feel when someone calls you like a Doomsday? What type of, does it give you a certain energy? Is it like a thing?
It's a great energy because here's the thing, right? My name is John Howard. My original name on my birth certificate is John J. Howard. I won't say my middle name, but it's John J. Howard. Mm-hmm. But so anytime people talk about me and they say, oh yeah, I know this guy named John Howard. He's this, he's that. He's always a nice guy. So when you hear John Howard is such a generic name. I mean, Howard is literally a university. Mm-hmm. So when you hear that, you're thinking this humble, nice guy and everything until someone says, you mean John Doomsday Howard? Now, as soon as you hear Doomsday, it changes the whole name. John Howard, it sounds like some cute, wholesome name, some guy you want in there, who might be a professor or something like that, and which technically I am a professor. That, someone who's going to write down, show you some stuff and cool. And then when someone refers you, oh yeah, John Doomsday Howard, instantly it changes the name, I have a joke. It's like when you hear John Howard, you usually think of some, some white guy or something like that. That's the best way to say it. But when you hear John Doomsday Howard, it's like, I think he might be black. That's scary.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that forefront where telling people I'm John Howard, and then if stuff gets real, it gets crazy, and I really introduced my whole fight name, and John Doomsday Howard, that changes the whole dynamic of the name. So I like having that because it goes from generic to exciting real quick, like 100 from 0 to 100, real quick.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that I totally would share the same feelings with my name, but the only way I could probably relate to how you feel about your name is how I feel when I get Nutella versus peanut butter.
Yeah,
like people can give me peanut butter, but you roll out Nutella. Yeah, you know not to play with me.
Oh yeah, you know it's serious. Like, oh man,
yeah.
Peanut butter. Oh, that's cool. Tell her, like, oh,
yeah, that's like we gotta watch out.
Right, that's caution.
You have been a staple in the MMA world for a long time. Obviously, me and you, I think, are fairly similar in some sense. We're from Boston.
Yep.
Obviously, we're raised here. We love the city that we come from. There's a certain like proudness, being from Boston.
Oh yeah, city of champions, baby.
Yeah, and in my opinion, as one of the most successful fighters that came out of Boston, and also, especially at a time where, when you fought, in the UFC, because you're a UFC veteran, I think, like, do you have a sense of like kind of pride with that? Do you walk with that? Does that, do you think about that? Like,
I mean, I'm proud of being a UFC veteran and actually getting to the UFC the time frame I got from, because when I got into the UFC, it was really, really, really a lot harder.
Yeah.
Than it is now. I mean, kids who make it to UFC, I mean, not to say they had a easier. I will say they have a little easier time than I did, because you really, really had to work hard. The work was way harder.
Yeah.
The kids who get into UFC now, I don't think they have to work as hard. They do work hard. I will say that,
right.
But I don't think they work as hard as I did.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how how that is, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like comedy too. So
yeah.
That's like kind of the same thing with stand-up comedy. We have a lot of new people that come in, and the same path, for them to get the success that they have wasn't the same way that the old school timers did. You know, so I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way I feel about this. So like, now that I see these new generation kids in the UFC, I'm very proud of them. We got a lot of people in Massachusetts, or we have to call it the Northeast, coming out of here and make it to the UFC, making a name, making statements.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of them for doing that. But it's just that path. I feel like maybe one of the old school guys. I kind of helped clear that path. I kind of plowed it. I pre-plowed it, and then they followed that track. So I actually not necessarily follow the track. It's just see the path, found a better path, and got there.
Yeah.
So I am proud that even got there. I mean, it's a good thing to get to UFC. Getting to the UFC is just a great accomplishment for anybody. I don't care who you are. It's just great.
And you started. You was when you were fighting, with them during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say like the UFC was still like, it's kind of like it was there, it was growing, but it was still like it's not was the UFC that it is today.
No,
right. It's still a kind of in its like infancy stages, right? It was still
it was still in the growth stages. It just came out on back then. It was on Spike TV. Went from Spike TV to Versus.
Really?
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, like UFC really, really came out. It was a grind. And fighters that got invited there, it was hard to get that invitation. Where now UFC's in so much bigger, it's so much a bigger organization, and just a lot more, resources to get there.
Yeah.
It's a lot different, I'm proud of the UFC doing big things and proud of the people who get there, because, it is hard to get there. But it's easy, but it's also been easier for this generation to get there, and thank God for that, and thank God I'm happy it's grown like that, where the exposure is a lot more, because when I was in it, only a few people knew what the UFC was. So, UFC fight, they knew about it, but they didn't really watch and get into it now.
It's a mainstream sport.
It's like it's no different than NFL, NBA. It's the exact same thing, right? When I was in UFC, the only way you was watching UFC was either on cable or sometimes you might catch it on network TV, but it was so hard to find it. But now it's everywhere. I mean, UFC basically has its own channel.
Right.
You know, it's insane.
You know what's also interesting too is the fact that, like, obviously, you know, the world of MMA fighting has grown within the last like 10 years. You know, 10 years for sure, and then even 10 years prior to that, I'm sure. You know what's interesting to me? I pay attention to how much people are actually do MMA now versus 20, 15 years ago, just because of watching people like you and fighters and and seeing like, oh, this is also you can if you do choose to like do it for combat and fight for be a prize fighter, that's like a different path, right? But if you're doing it to just overall like get in shape and to just try something new, I see MMA gyms everywhere now.
It's crazy. You got UFC gyms sprouting up everywhere. I think UFC, you could actually every major city easy has a UFC gym, which when I was growing up, that was not a thing. I remember when coming up that women wasn't allowed in the UFC. I remember a time with Dana White said, I would never have women fight in the UFC, and now women is actually they're bigger sells on paper now than the men are. Okay, or just like but there was one point where women were outselling pay-per-views versus the men. But I'm from a time frame where Dana White was awesome. I don't want no women. Women should be fighting on that until times changed. And now, look, you got world champion women. You got people. You got Ronda Rousey. She became a movie star, MMA star. The accolades are different, And now you got Amanda Nunes. The list goes on for what happened, So it's crazy to see one point in time where it was biased to now it's like it's not. It's so crazy to see that two different time frames.
It's not really crazy, if in my opinion, if you really think about it, because I feel like that's just like the natural order of how humans work. When you're so used to something for so long, when something new is presented, usually people are like, I'm good. This is not what we're used to, until you start proving like this can work and this actually should be part of it. That's when they're like, oh yeah, we should have done this a long time ago. And civil rights work that way.
But basically, I was gonna say that. So as I feel like I was part of the witness.
These
movement.
black people are not that bad after all.
Right? It's like, oh, okay, come on, come eat with us. No more segregation. We're good.
We're good.
We love you.
We can go to to Germany and win a gold medal in 100-meter race. And,
right, exactly.
Against the Nazis. But yeah, I'm just saying. I just wanted to prove that point. It's just it's not as crazy as people may think. It's a natural thing where people are like, I'm not used to this thing. I'm good.
Well, I think it's what it is. It's like I feel like an old timer because I seen it. And I feel one of those guys, I remember such and such and such and such, and I catch myself saying that, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I am old. I'm getting older. Like, not necessarily old.
I'm saying that now.
In general, but like older to see the sport change from one dynamic to another. It was just like imagine being the age, where I'm going to use my grandma for example, where she saw Martin Luther King live. She's seen that speech. To see Martin Luther King have this speech, I have a dream to see Obama in the office.
Wow.
Right, you know what I'm saying? That it's just she had a conversation, and she let me know I don't understand what happened, what dynamic you just experienced. She was telling me, I remember this thing, and I remember like when he was saying that, how we truly believe that this is gonna happen. And when people was like, oh, never to see that, and then to be alive to see Obama become president of the United States. She's like, that's a big hysterical step right there. So I feel the same way being an MMA fighter, being UFC vet, to see at one point in time where, a certain group of people was literally not allowed to win. The president would say stuff like, oh no, we don't want women in this organization. Till women being the number one reason why the organization probably took off is because of women being in the sport. So that's crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting how we still have to kind of defend how much women have moved things into a better direction.
Yes.
It's like the fact that we're still fighting that idea. Like, hey guys, just listen sometimes. All right.
Yeah, right.
Just pay attention to the history, right?
Yeah, I agree. To see the strong women movement in so many ways, and even to see the MMA as what it become, it's actually inspiring. It's a different mindset. It proves more how equal women are to men. Here's a sport where it was biased only to men, and then a woman get into it, and it not only made more interesting, but it also opened up a whole new world to people that listen. This is not a sport basically primarily for men. This is a woman too, and also to see how powerful women are. People don't understand. I used to say for years that
I know I get choked out
right?
all the time.
Right?
Shout out to Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole, right? And she's my blue ball. Shout out to you, Nicole. But I personally believe that women make better grapplers. I've been saying it for years, and now you see it. You can have a man who's 230 pounds solid muscle versus a woman who's 150 pounds, and that woman would beat that man down. And now you see that we're in an atmosphere where you can see that's really real. That's a real thing, and that to see that inspiration and to see that to be told and said, and see it coming on live shows. That's great to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's true. Because I don't think you're right. I think people generally, if it's not in front of their face, that's when they, it's hard to believe something if you don't really see it right in front of you.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, but yeah, it's not. Once women started like winning and they started competing and they started being part of the sport, in and out of the octagon, I'm not surprised as to where the UFC is today, and that trickled to other federations and promotion companies as well. Right?
But you know what's crazy about that? Women have been they've been a real influence in martial arts for years. Wing Chun, Bruce Lee's original style. Or if you were Bruce Lee's master, the Ip Man. I call him IP Man, the Ip Man.
Every time you talk about Bruce Lee, I'm sorry, John, but my nipple gets hard because I'm just fucking like, I love talking about Bruce Lee. Go ahead.
Right, but people don't understand Wing Chun and Bruce Lee's original first style is a woman's style. That's a woman's art. It's not a man's art. The Ip Man even says it. Matter of fact, if you watch the Ip Man, they used to make fun of Ip Man because like you're using a woman's art to beat everybody up. But yeah, it's a woman's art. So think about that. Think how powerful this art is. And Bruce Lee's whole Jeet Kune Do style is based off of Wing Chun, a woman's art. So Bruce Lee would not be the man who he was unless he took this woman's art. So women have been contributing so much to the martial art world. People don't even know that. It's crazy to hear that. People are like, are you serious? Like, yeah, one of the best martial arts in the world was invented by a woman. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, and people don't know that, but I'm glad it's coming out and coming more and more and being pushed out. It's not like a little undergrad secret, a little secret. It's like it's coming forth. And it's a lot of stuff that women contribute to the mixed martial art world, and people don't know.
Yeah.
And it goes back into those ancient times, and that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Yep.
That's interesting. I did not know that. Wow. That's but I'm not surprised though.
Yep.
To be quite honest with you,
Me neither.
I'm
not surprised either.
I'm not surprised at all. If you're a person that pays attention, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but now fast forward. Now we're how many years like professionally have you fought? Are you like how many?
It's coming into 20.
A dub.
Yeah, dub. 20 years of fighting. I got 20 years, and this year we'll make it 20.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And you shit, goddamn, we might as well just get right into it, because we know this is cut to the chase. Fuck that.
Hell yeah.
You have this is again one of the reasons why I appreciate you coming on, because you're in fight camp, so I know how important it is to get rest and be, I guess structure is very important, right?
Yes.
When it comes to a fight coming up, and you have a fight coming up. If I'm not mistaken, January 28th, right?
Yep.
Okay. Miami.
Yeah. Welcome to Miami.
You know, and you have a fight coming up, and you just signed. If I don't think a lot of people know, but you signed with a different promotion company.
Yep. This promotion is called Eagle FC, and if you know who Khabib is, Khabib used to be I think still is the pound best UFC champion of the world. But he retired because of this passing of his fallen. All due respect, rest in peace. But he started his own league, and this league is actually really big in Russia. And this is the first time they come in actually doing this venue overseas in America, and then doing it at Miami. And I got the invite to call, so I'm very honored. You know, this league is gonna be a competition to UFC, Bellator, all the major organizations. You know, Eagle FC is gonna be one of them. Right? It's not as big in America yet because people don't know. But if you do your research or you go on Google, you see how big it is in Russia. Basically, Eagle FC is as big as UFC in Russia.
Yeah.
It's just as big.
Well, when you have not to just to be honest here, like I think if I don't know the man, but I watch him. I've watched his fights. I watch his interviews. You know, Khabib, Nurmagomedov that we're talking about. I don't think he's a type of individual. Again, I don't know him. You know him more than me. I don't think he's the type of individual that would attach himself to anything unless he knows he believes in it and that he knows that it's good.
100% agree with that. Yes.
Right.
I think he attached himself to a great league. I think it's going to be a new thing for everyone to watch, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited. He's bringing new overseas fighters, not only for Russia but literally all over the world, to come in and showcase talent. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity. A lot of big names are signing off. Rashad Evans, he's coming back March 11.
Oh, Rashad Evans is signed?
Yeah, he's signed with Eagle FC. He's on.
Okay.
He fighting on March 11.
Okay.
A few Diego Sanchez, he signed with them too.
Okay. Yeah. Some good, solid, experienced fighters.
Oh yeah, Kevin Lee, he's another one. He signed with them. Yeah, and there's more to come now.
He's in your bracket, right?
Yeah. Well,
no, does he fight at your class? No.
Well, yes and no.
Yes and no, right?
Right,
I don't want to stop. Hey. I'm just asking questions here. I see you looking at me, man. Like, the way you're side eye, man. You're just like, hey, Chase, man.
Well, we never know. Well, Kevin Lee's, I believe, is fighting 165, and I'm fighting 175. Well, I will say this.
Oh. What do they consider that? Catch weight?
Yeah. So what is the that's what we think about Eagle FC is totally different. UFC has different weight classes, right? They don't have a 165 weight class. Okay. Well, Eagle FC does. A 165 weight class changes the whole game.
Well, this is what I want to ask you.
Yep.
And I'm sorry because listen, I'm a grown man that drinks hot tea. You know, with a Golden Girls mug. You know, I don't know nothing. I've always wanted to ask a fighter this.
Yep.
Is it a really big difference between 165 and 170 or 175? That 10-pound difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That when you're making weight, those 5 pounds, those last 5 pounds suck.
Yeah. Okay.
It really sucks. Like right now, my fight right now is scheduled to be at 175.
Okay.
All right. So I usually fight at 170. So 175 is easy to make. But I really think I can make 165 too. Right? So you might see me, if a possibility, if the offers ever get on the table, it's a possibility I could go to 165 or definitely 175 right. But if the opportunity is right, maybe I could go 165. Now I'm not saying that's 100%, you know, but you know, if the opportunity comes, you know, and I feel I can make it.
Yeah, just okay, John.
I might jump on that. I might jump on that 165.
Listen,
you know,
man, I got a little trick for you.
Man. Yes, well,
just
some things might happen. I gotta get through this fight 175 first, but you know,
I know a guy.
But
no Twinkies. Just don't eat Twinkies.
Don't eat no Twinkies.
Yeah.
So
you'll make
I think I can. I mean, I can make 170. Making 165, I'm pretty confident I can. I never did it before, but
I'm impressed by you because you could cut. I've never asked you this too, because I'm like, because I know what you walk around usually with.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, how the fuck does this guy get down to 170? But I would assume, obviously, through years of experience and knowing your body and knowing how to do it, it helps, right?
Yep.
But even still, I'm just like, how the heck? Like, you cut weight. It seems like you cut weight very, very easily. Like, you don't have like, because when I see you at the gym and stuff, like as you're cutting weight for a fight, you know, you just kind of like the same dude. You're like, hey, and then all of a sudden, like the next week, I'm like, he's like a lot, like he lost weight. Like it's like magic in a weird way.
Well,
altering your body like that. I've always cutting weight like that. You know?
Well, when it was, it's just years experience. I mean, I tell people all the time, because people ask me, "Oh, can you teach me how to cut type of weight?" I'm like, no, I don't like teaching people to cut weight because I only cut weight to put it back on. You know, so like, and that's what people say. A lot of people try to cut weight and keep it off. You can't do that. You could cut weight, but the best, in my opinion, is that when you cut weight, you definitely want to cut weight, but at least put something back on, because people will cut weight try to stay there, and that's not healthy for your body. Cutting weight is not necessarily the best thing for your body, especially if you do it unhealthily. There are very healthy ways to cut weight, and there are very unhealthy ways to cut weight. And I visit the middle.
You need a little danger. You
need a little danger.
You walk around with a little danger.
I get danger. So.
So I don't see if I did not know you and I saw you in the street, I would be like, he's all dangerous. Like, there's nothing, I don't think he walks in with being like, I'm gonna take the easy road.
Yeah. So like I walk in a weird line, but cutting weight, it's a process. It's not always fun. Yeah, actually, it's probably never fun.
So this, so this fight that you're preparing yourself for, which is in a few weeks, what's your, like, because you've been around for a while, and do you go into this particular fight with the same mindset, with the same approach? What is Doomsday Howard's approach to this upcoming fight?
It's just, I know I'm fighting a tough guy, so I got coming in for a tough fight. I'm preparing for a war of a fight, giving 15 minutes of hell if it even goes 15 minutes. But I'm going there with everything I got. I'm training my ass off, training every day, running, sparring, lifting, everything I need to do. But the mindset is always saying is just basically to be ready for the possibility. That all type of experience I have of fighting, I like to home that and just basically relive through that and through my experience, go forward with that. Yeah,
that's good. I did have the luxury and privilege to see you fight live. A few months. This last year. Last year. In Springfield.
Yep. CES. Shout out to CES.
CES. Shout out to CES. And it was I'm gonna be real with you. Listen, I'm not gonna say I'm a big deal, but I've done some things, I've done a couple things, I could assure you that I never did anything or been part of anything like that, which is, walking into an arena, right? Let me break this down for a second, right? For all these people that don't understand where I'm trying to go with this, there's a certain level of awareness that you got to have in life that I feel like, right? I'm a Boston guy. I've been in a few scraps, won them all. No one cares, but we ain't gonna get into that. I've been around. I've gotten to some tussles and stuff. Some whatever. I'm not gonna get into my stories, but I can, from a face service level, I can say I know. I can kind of fight. Whatever. I'm slippery. That's like, right. I'm very slippery. I can get to like the first move, but if I have to end it if I get to the first move, usually, right? When I walked into that arena, right? Listen, I go anywhere with confidence. I walk with confidence. I don't care where I go. That was the first time that I walked into a place where I said to myself, "You better not look anyone in the eyes." Because 85% of these people are assassins.
Yep.
And I said, and it's a certain type of energy when fighters are all together and they're just ready. There's like a ready fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's like a readiness to these men and women. Like they just, I wish you motherfucker would say something.
I wish I would. Right?
And I experienced that, and I'm just like, oh, this is a different level, right?
Oh yeah.
And you main carded the fight, and you won the fight. Fucking, very, very arguably, not even arguably, it was basically you won the whole rounds. But it gave me a little kind of a different perspective on how to kind of treat this business. Mm-hmm. It gave me a perspective that I needed, which is, you can be tough, but you also have to walk with a certain level of humility as well.
Yes.
Right. And that experience was something awesome because, we went with the team, shout out to Doomsday Jiu Jitsu. And you're, I'm fortunate to have you as my professor, and we'll get into that a little later. But I just wanted to say thank you for that because, it really, really changed my way of thinking of how to kind of approach things, because, sometimes I can get a little, Chasey can get a little, temper, I can get, but that was the first time I was just like, oh, bro, you got to like really take a step back because now you don't know who the heck knows what. You don't know who knows who. I saw this kid. There was one kid that looked like, I swear to God, the dude from Dolomite. I'm not the Dolomite, from Dynamite. Dynamite. Yeah. The kid looked like Dynamite. Yeah. And they told me he's like, the next thing coming. I'm like, oh, okay. And I saw him fight. I was like, oh, yeah, he is.
He's the next thing coming.
But anyways, I wanted to break down the, from that fight, getting back, because you didn't fight after a little while, and then you came in, you just like boom, you came in like just you had you know what it is, Doomsday. When I saw you walk out of when they called your name, it's just your energy and your eyes was like, you could tell that I'm winning this fucking fight. No one's like, and there was people there. We were deep. And you had a lot of fans there, and I could tell you were just like focused. Like, do you just know how to just turn it on, or or is there like a process, or you just what's the feeling that you walk into the octagon? Because I always wanted to like experience that. What's that feeling walking to the octagon?
That feeling,
that's where it's at, right?
Yeah, that's where that feeling. It's just it's intense. It's nerve-wracking. It's exciting. It's so many emotions happening at the same time, and then you have to hone it, and concentrate and not get over emotional, almost stimulant. You just have to control the stimulus and then release the right energy at the right time.
Yeah.
That fight, I was coming back because one, I was mad. I was mad about the whole 2020, that kind of shut a lot of stuff down. A lot of fighters couldn't fight for a year. So like not taking, when you're forced, you gotta be taking the year off of your career. Especially if you don't want to. It kind of sucks. I didn't want to take that year off. I mean, maybe it was good for me, maybe it wasn't. But I want to prove that even a year off, I'm not fighting and not being active, that I could come back and put a hell of a performance as I did. Yeah. So that was the intention was like, listen, I might have took a year off, but I'm not done. I'm not old.
Oh,
I'm ready to go, and I'm gonna let you know, anybody who steps in front of me, they have a hell of a fight waiting for them.
Yeah.
So I that's why I want to prove that. And I think that night I did. I got a unanimous decision over Ozzy. Shout out to Ozzy, good fight. But yeah, it was coming that energy, that specific fight. I want to prove to the world, everybody around, that I'm still John Doomsday Howard, and I think I showed that.
Yeah.
When I walked down, I just kind of zoned literally almost everything out. Everybody screaming and just get my mission done. I was there to eat, and
that's what
eat.
It is.
I did.
Yeah, you did eat. You ate fucking good. I don't know if you heard me during the fight. You probably don't hear really anything, right? You probably hear screams and stuff.
Yeah.
But at that point, at that level, you probably honed it. You probably just block a lot of things out, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard me. It was my first like MMA fight, and I didn't want to say anything too out of hand. You know, I'm that dude where. You know how we grew up, right? Especially as black people, you're not going to somebody's house and acting a fool.
Yeah,
you gotta you read the room.
Yeah,
right. The only thing that I can contribute to that fight for you, my man, was just me saying the word pressure 1,000 times.
I love it.
That's the only thing I was saying, and then because everyone was saying it, I was like, okay, I'll say it too. Like, so at this point, all you hear from me from the corner is like pressure, and it's like. Because I feel like people can't really get mad at me too much because it's like he's just saying pressure. He's not like saying
he's not saying whoop his ass or anything. He's saying pressure. But actually, honestly, I think I did hear that a few times because what happens is like I do hear my corner saying pressure, but when it echoes around the audience, it's even better. So it reconfirms because it's like let's say sometimes what happens I would kind of hear my corner say it like pressure, I'm like and then I hear pressure, and wherever it comes from, like okay, that's what they're saying. Yeah. So it reconfirms that. So sometimes I do hear it, like here and there. I like to just tune it into my corner if I can. Yeah. You know, but when stuff makes sense, especially I'm in a down position, I hear certain things, and it's applicable. Yeah. In that moment, yeah. Yeah. It works. You know, it's funny how it happens because. I want to make a movie about the things you think about and things that happen during the fight because people think the fight is 5 minutes. That 5 minutes is like 5 hours to me, right? Because you understand, my head is going 1,000 miles an hour of situations there. That's like, put it like this: I've been in a fight where I got hit, all right, and a flashback happened. Now the flashback is a second in reality time. The flashback in my head is a full like 10 minutes.
I get
okay. So like I'm here, left hook, bang, right? I catch. Yeah. Okay. I catch it clean. Oh, so in my head, a flashback remembers. Look, he's gonna be open to the left head. So that thing we drilled, right? It replays so many times, but if it plays in the best way to spin it in a 10-minute frame within a second. Oh. Right. So like, or like I'll be in a bad situation. Let's say I'm getting pounded, like punches are sitting there, and like I'm not responding. Then the last second I just respond. What it is, a lot of experience of what I do to get the situation. Sometimes in my head I'm replaying what I'm supposed to do, but it's so fast.
It's happening so fast.
It's happening so fast. It's like a second boom. Versus in your head, you have to slow it down. It's like a whole channel of why you should be doing this, why to do this, why this. We drill this, we do this. So a whole situation. So what y'all seeing within 5 minutes is actually a whole movie in my head because there's so many things that happen in my head from little things. The way he steps, the way he do this, the way he do that, with that. There's those splits, the split seconds to me where. It's so fast, but in my head, it's slow. Those split seconds slow down, where it's a split second, but in my head, it's a replay for 10 minutes.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't think that's wow. Like, yeah. That explains a lot now because, because some I guess some people would say, you know, why is this fighter didn't do this? You know, he's done it like 1,000 times. Like, how come he just, you know? I guess some people would say like whatever it is, like. Fighter's block or like something that a mental like something just like so there's like a lot of components to the art of fighting. Yeah, there's the physical component, right? Being in condition, making sure you can take the pain and the pressure and all these things, right? That takes many years to even get to. Yep. Then you have like the mental part, right? Once you're in there, it's like you train this whole fight camp or you know this whole time you know how to do certain things, but all that can essentially kind of almost go out, not so much go out the window, but it changes because let's say you train for a guy that's like more of a striker. He's like known to be a striker, but let's say his fight camp was like, we're going to work on wrestling and he comes and like starts wrestling. You're like, what the fuck? Like, you're not supposed to do this. Exactly. I signed up for you to like punch me in my face. Like, what's going on? Right. Yeah. So it's like instantly.
And sometimes that's a strategy. Actually, it's funny you said it. That's how I beat Aussie. That's exactly how I beat Aussie. His corner. I talked to his corner. His corner said we didn't train for you to wrestle us. They thought I was only gonna try to knock him out. Yeah. So what happened is because they didn't train the wrestlers, I was able to utilize it. So every time I got him striking, and when I took him down, put on his back,
Yeah.
He didn't think for 1 second I'll be able to do that, but because I did,
Right.
it messed his whole game plan up. It was like, no, we didn't expect it. Not necessarily he didn't train for it.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't really heavily expect it. It was like, hey, listen, this might happen, but more likely it won't, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And because it was put into that situation, I exposed it. Like, oh, you didn't think I could wrestle you? Let me take you out and wrestle you. And now, because he was preparing to dodge and dip, now he wasn't prepared to wrestle. Now he has to wrestle, but now he has to wrestle. And then every time you start to wrestle, I just changed it up to striking. And then we got used to striking, took him back down.
Right.
So that's when like the experience comes in, where I figured he didn't train for that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or he did, but he didn't train as hard as he should have.
Yeah.
And because he didn't, I exposed it.
It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. Anyone that chooses a profession where they're like, hey, keep punching me in the face. I'm already giving you credit. Like, just being like, hey, I like being punched in the face. Well, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't say you like it, but it's more of like, you know, it's that type of mindset. And I wanted to, the whole mindset thing of being, I want to get into like the mindset part of it a little bit, which is, what I'm starting to notice, especially now, during these times, with everything that's going on, I think for the most part, I'm kind of an individual that I feel like I don't like to feel stressed by things, right? I've learned, and I'm still learning how to vet out certain things when I feel like they're becoming toxic or negative or something, not to get too much into it. Just don't let it affect me.
Yeah.
Right. For me, when I don't know if you remember this, but when I first started working out, with you, first of all, let's go back for a second. The first thing that you told me, because I've known you for a little while, and I reached a point in my life, I said to myself, I'm talking a lot of shit, like I'm walking around, because I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm like an Al Bundy. I'm a black Al Bundy.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm one of these guys that like talk about like what I used to do, like 15 years ago. Yeah, I was a great athlete. I was okay. I wasn't great. I was better than the average. I played in college. I mean, it's a lot for what most people say can do, but I just when I was a young kid up until like 23, I had structure, right? I was an athlete, so repetitiveness was like a big thing for me, right?
Yep.
Shooting, drill, football, basketball, track. Like, I knew I was good at it because I had it as part of my life. And then after life gets older, you start getting older. You get jobs. You don't have that structure anymore. Things start to go away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So for a good maybe like, I'm not gonna lie, 13, 14 years, I didn't really work out like the way I used to. And then that created, weight gain. And maybe some people say a little bit of, maybe some depression, maybe a little bit in terms of just not, being able to trick my mind into, starting to work out. And, and I just can't work out. Like, I can't just go to the gym anymore, just walk on the treadmill. Like, I felt like I need something external. I'm an external person, if that makes sense. Like,
that makes sense.
So, and then when I asked you, I said, man, listen, one day I was like, man, I'm just going to ask Doomsday. Like, listen, man, I think I just told you, like, listen, man, I'm tired of being fat.
You sure did.
I'm tired of being fat. I'm tired of like waking up, like, taking like 3-4 hours just to like get my body moving. Like, I'm just, what do you think I should do? Cause I'm like, why not ask a person who knows this stuff? And you said, listen, man, stop thinking about too much. Just come to the gym. And then we'll start slow. And then I took that invitation and it was something that was very, very new to me, and because I was walking into a totally different world, I don't know anything about the fighting world. How do I act? How do I, how do you approach it with respect? How do you, because that's the type of person I am. I don't want to just walk in and thinking like I'm like the man, which I'm sure, and I've witnessed with there's people that come and try to do that, right? So I guess my question is this. I guess how do you know? How do you just know how to like like the motivation factor and getting people just to get out of their seat and just jumping out and not worry about fear and just do it. What do people need to do? What do people need to like? What's the Professor Doomsday's method of that, of trying to tell someone how to get out of that mode?
I'm gonna say this. I'm glad you said Al Bundy, because Al Bundy, the person who played Al Bundy is a real legit black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You know what?
He's a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that, I'm glad you brought it up. But I'm gonna tell you this: that fear and everything.
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill. Yeah,
Ed
exactly.
O'Neill.
He's a black belt. I think he's a black belt under Renzo Gracie, one of the Gracies, but he's a black belt.
That makes sense. California.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a black belt.
Wow.
So, that being said, and then another thing you said is that fear.
Yeah, the fear,
my suggestion is living your fears. A lot of people don't know this, but fighting is like literally my biggest fear. That's why I do it for a living. I fear it. That the motivation is the fear. You understand. Yes, I'm a dangerous man. If you don't know, I could snap my back with my bare hands. I could probably kick about 1,000 psi, into a bag.
Okay, let me stop you there. Before we go forward with any of this conversation, I just want to let you know that I totally understand what you just said, even though I don't know what the fuck you just said. You just said you kick 1,000 psi, pressure, fucking whatever, right?
Yep.
The only reason why I know that's a lot is because when I go to fill my tire, it only goes up to 35 psi.
I love it.
So I don't know if that is actually like a thing that I can actually measure. I'm just saying that's how my mind thinks. He has more pressure than probably 10 tires. Yep. Proceed.
So I can do that, and even be doing that people think I should give me all the confidence in the world. It really doesn't. What it does, it lets me know what I'm capable of, but it also lets me know what possible my opponent could be capable of. But I tell people, listen, it's fear. Live in your fears. You gotta live in your fears. That's the best way I can tell you. Listen, don't think because I'm John Disney. I've been doing this 20 years. I'm still just as fearful as any other fight. Yeah. But it took me 15 years to honestly admit that, because I thought I was not necessarily lying to myself. I was trying to like make it into something else. But no, then when I really was real to myself and I kind of like discovered myself, I really understood that, yeah, I do fear fighting. I do fear fighting. So what the motivation is, guys, is fear. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to be scared. It's all right. It's natural. Don't think I'm this superhuman being not scared of anything. No, that's unrealistic. I'm just as fearful as the next person. Like the fighting, especially when I'm fighting the higher levels I do and how dangerous I am versus the people I fight and how dangerous I am. I'm just as fearful. I'm just as fearful than fighting the next man as the next man is fighting me. That being said, the difference is I have to live in those fears. I live in those fears. And that living in that fear gets me to go to the gym, gets me to do the crazy stuff, gets me to snap a back, gets me to kick 1,000 PSI, because it's fear.
Yeah.
Okay? I tell people, live in your fear. If you live in your fear, what's going to stop you? I literally do for a living the one thing, there's two things I fear in this world evenly: swimming and fighting. I think I fear fighting a little bit more. Swimming, I fear because obviously drowning, but yeah, that's a personal fear. But
yeah,
right, I do it because I live there because of that fear. But I'm gonna tell you this: even Mike Tyson, when his first fight, he didn't want to fight. He was scared. He was scared to death. He said he thought about leaving, going on the bus, and going home. He had a choice. He was walking to the gym, and there was a moment where he could have went left to go home or right to win or to fight. So he went right. And he fought and he won. And the one thing I learned from him that he teaches, he was like, the coward and hero have the same exactly dilemma, the same emotional. Everything is exactly the same. It's that decision that makes the person a coward and that makes the person a hero. The coward goes away, runs from the situation. The hero goes right to the situation and lives in it. So that's the difference. There's no clear difference. Okay, don't think the hero and a coward don't have the same emotion. Of course, they have. The human. They have the exact same emotions, the exact same fears, the exact same anxieties, whatever you want to put it. The exact same feelings that coward has, the exact same feelings that hero has. The only difference is that this decision and making that decision, you can either cower away from it, or you can live in it.
You can step out
and step up.
Yeah,
and that's what I do. I just step up. I just step into it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fear this, but because I fear this, I'm not gonna run for it. I'm gonna live in it and try being in it and survive it. And sometimes you find it's not necessarily that bad. And then when you learn what fear is not. It's just fear itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what it is. But I use fear as a motivation. That's my biggest motivation. And to everybody else, that should be more motivation too. When you feel like, oh, I don't want to do it, I fear this, I fear that, live there. Live there. Live in the hell. Live in the suck. Live in the terribleness. Because if you can live there and handle that, what's stopping you? If you could meet your fears face to face and deal with your fears, don't think necessarily gonna conquer it. I still think I conquer the fear of fighting.
Yeah.
Right. So since I don't think I conquer it, I live there still. I'm gonna live there, and I'm probably gonna live there for another 10 years if I can. But
sure.
Or probably even longer. But yeah, I tell people, no, it's that emotion, that same emotion you have when you fear comes. I get the same thing. The only difference is I make the different decision. And
I think you just said it right there.
Yep.
I think that's what it is. The decision to how to basically either embrace the fear or to, not embrace it and live in regret.
Yep.
And I don't care what anyone says, right? Listen, I really believe that there is no way to actually grow unless you really put yourself through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Real gauntlets of I'm not saying voluntarily that you put yourself in these situations. What I'm saying is, well, sometimes you have to, right? Because you got to test yourself, right?
Test yourself, yeah.
But I'm talking about from a standpoint of just where you're just experiencing things that are happening to you that are out of your control, and knowing how to deal with that, so you can keep going forward and chase the dream or chase the goal that you have. And that was one of my things. I think I had to be honest with myself, because I'm not. I wouldn't say I've never been afraid of things, but I do have. There's things that I definitely feared, but I definitely was a very fast forward thinking type person. But when it came to my health, for example, I think there was just a plateau. It just was a plateau. I didn't have a structure. I didn't have a support system. I didn't have, I didn't know where to start, and I just had to jump. And I just came to the gym one time. The one thing I always liked about how what you did with me was with my transformation was the fact that there was never pressure. There was no pressure for you to say, hey, you weren't like, hey man, you got to be here these type days, these times, come. There was none of that. There was listen, I'm here. The gym's here. Come. If you don't come, it's on you. But I'm here. All the tools that you need to get where you need to be physically are here. You have to show up. I'm not going to be your daddy. This ain't no pity contest here. Because life doesn't work like that.
Nope.
So you have to earn that. You got to earn that. You got to earn that stripe. Mm-hmm. You got to that. You got to earn your stripes, as they say, right? You got to earn it. When people, that's why I think when you alluded to in the beginning of the podcast, I think you were saying the way some people are now and how they get things. Mm-hmm. It's not the same way.
It's not.
And you can tell that it's not the same way based on how they act. Right? Certain people act differently. You don't work as hard when you are given things.
No.
That's a fucking fact. I don't care. Sometimes you might fall through the cracks. Some people hey, I got this thing. I got lucky. I don't want to lose it. I'm going to work hard. You get those people. There are some people like that. But most of the time when you're given things, you don't work as hard. That's a thing that you can go back thousands of years.
Yeah.
So I really, really appreciate the fact that you did that, because I think you can answer this, which you will.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your way of really testing to see which students are worth teaching, or not even worth teaching, if they even have it mentally first?
It's a way to find out if they really want it, because what it is, I could tell you all blue in the face, come, do this. That's why I tell everybody, no, my gym's here. I'm here. I'm here at these times. There's available times. My door is always open, man. There's no pressure. There's nothing. You have to make that decision. I can't be there. I could call you, check on you, motivate you here and there, tell you to do all there is, but you have to make the decision. And I'm not gonna force you. I'm not gonna be down your throat. I'm gonna tell you, hey, listen, I could guide you. You really want this? You want this? You really want this? The door's open. The door's open. Everything you want and need, everything is through this door. But you gotta walk through it. I'm not forcing you to do this door.
Yeah.
I refuse to.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I put it there. Like, listen, I'm not one of those gyms. Oh, you gotta do this. You gotta do that. No. Just have the balls. Have the courage. Okay. Have the faith to take that leap of faith. Take the jump. If you really want to do it, okay, you can say, I really want to do it. I hear that all the time. That's cool. And I say, that's great. But you have to take that leap. I'm not going to come and push you. I'm not pushing you off the edge. You have to jump off the edge.
Yeah.
Okay? Then when you jump off the edge, I can catch you on the other end. Like, all right, well, here we go.
And you did that. There was one moment I think was pivotal for me. You probably remember it. There was a pivotal moment where we were rolling. And for people who don't know common verbiage when it comes to jiu-jitsu, when people say roll or we want to roll, it's basically you're grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another term for grappling or wrestling, all that stuff. So I wasn't rolling with you. I think I was rolling with John, other John Snyder. Shout out to John Snyder.
Shout out Snyder.
Girl,
thing one, thing two, love you.
And he was and he also was a huge part of my development as well. Our team was tremendous. Shout out to Coach Sean as well, FAF, for even hosting me and all that. But FAF. There was one moment where this is when everything that was built up inside came out.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think John was on top, and I just couldn't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think you said goes back to the fighting thing, where your mind just stopped. Your mind just for me it just froze.
Mm-hmm.
And you just you basically when you give up like that, you basically just telling your mind and your body that you don't have the fight anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you just released yourself to another person. You just quit.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, right, and there was other emotions that were going on that were suppressed, everything just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I think I had a panic attack, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And I've never had that happen to me before. In that way. And you recognize that so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you just stop, go over here and embrace it, breathe through it, just sit here. I'm gonna sit here with you, and we're gonna get through this. Other people probably would be like, oh, I'm good, I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, nah. Mm-mm. you get this is it. This is part of the growth here.
Yes.
Did you remember that day?
I remember that day.
Yeah.
I remember yesterday, and I told you I was like, no. I was like, no. I know what you're going through. It's okay. I told you everything's okay. This is about now we're gonna work through this. This is I expected this to eventually happen, but now we're gonna work through this, and this is the part we need to get over. And when you get over this hump, it's gonna change your whole life. I was like, look, I don't expect you to get this hump over today, but we're gonna work through this shit. You're not gonna stop because something didn't go your fucking way. This is not gonna happen. We're gonna work through this. We're gonna breathe this. We're gonna really break this down to every freaking cell that we need to break this down. But we're gonna get through this together. Okay, whatever fears, whatever it is, we have to deal with. We can't just shut down and go away, especially in this situation. That shutdown stuff, I'm not with that. Listen, okay, I understand it comes to a point, but now let's get here. Mm-hmm. Let's live here. Let's get this together. Let's discover how to break this together, and we're gonna get through it. I don't want you to shut down. I understand that breaks you feeling like that. That's okay. Okay, but we're gonna deal with this. We're gonna like old school therapists used to do. We're gonna deal with this and work together through this.
Yeah.
Okay. You sat down. I said, "Yo, take a minute. Take a minute." We worked through. You worked through it, and eventually, you got through it.
Yeah.
You got through it to the point where John put you in the same situation again. You didn't panic. You got out. You got out. You worked through it.
Yeah.
He did it again. You got through it. You got worked out through it. And more and more and more and more and more better and better. When he did put you in a situation, it didn't bother you. It doesn't bother you to this day now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Not as much. No.
Not even a little bit. It doesn't matter. That person that was there that day versus now, no. I could do the exact same thing to you, John, did to you. You won't panic. You get out and deal with it and do what you got to do. And that's what you did.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and that was a breakthrough. And that's why I told you, like, yeah, listen, I told you, I go through the same thing stuff, but now you understand why I'm here, because I want to work through it and get through it and find out how to get through this and this, that, and that's my job. And shout out to you for listening to me, because a lot of people don't like to listen and take that real trust and comfort into that. But you
just said it.
You listened to me and you trusted in me in the comfort as your sensei, and I thank you for that, because I told you when you get through this and we remember this moment and look, that moment ain't nothing to you no more. Right. Okay, it's a memory and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a trauma. But now every time you go into that situation, you visit it, you now in your head, my personal belief, that every time you visit that trauma, you get through. Like, no, I know how to get through it. I know what the situation is. Okay, yeah, this sucks, but I know what to do. Here it is. And the more and more you kept doing it, I didn't have to say nothing to you. You put your situation, I just walked away. I was so proud because I didn't have to say nothing. I just gave you a look like, good job, and walked away.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I want you to have that moment of clarity that you fix it. That yes, we fixed it together, but most importantly, you did that. You just listened. And that's a key point. Thank you for trusting me with that. But you should be very proud of yourself, man, because you trusted me. I got you to do it. Now, that situation, you worked through it. And that's a big lump. Mm-hmm. That's a big hump to get over for anybody. To visit a situation they don't like and to beat it. And you beat it. And my personal 100%, you beat it. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, brother.
Nah, it was a good thing. I wanted to actually, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to actually have you on the podcast, is to really thank you for being the catalyst.
You,
no, this is real talk. Like, I'm not one of these individuals that
I know.
You know that. Like,
I know.
I give credit when credit's due.
Thank you.
And I also, take accountability when things go bad too. But I want to personally say thank you for being the catalyst. Obviously I know that I have to show up. I'm the one that's showing up, but I feel like sometimes in life, well, a lot of times, not sometimes, you just need someone to just believe in you.
That's it.
There's nothing wrong with that. You just need someone to believe in you. And I could tell you this, never underestimate someone who believes in someone that has nothing to lose. Don't undermine that. Ever.
Never. I agree 100%.
Do not underestimate someone who has nothing to lose, but if you give them an opportunity to be better,
ooh.
That's a dangerous female and male.
Yeah, that's a dangerous person.
That's a dangerous person.
That's a dangerous person. 100%.
Yeah. So the fighter's mentality, some people say, it's the fighter's mentality, right? It's the fighter's mentality because most fighters possess these habits, right? Because they're the ones that put themselves in the gauntlet, right? They're the ones that it's easy to be yelling at someone in the seats, right? You're at a press conference, people, fans are, you suck, dude, yeah, you're gonna get. It's like, I get the whole genre, I get the whole entertainment part of it. I know this is all whatever, but at the end of the day, at the core of it, can you do what I do? Can you put yourself through the gauntlet of tests? Yeah. Emotional, physical, economical.
Yeah.
I tell people as comedians, a lot of new comedians, don't overthink comedy. And I learned that through my mentor. Don't overthink these things. Even in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yep.
It's not an overthinking practice.
No. You just gotta kind of let it happen. Let it happen. And you gotta let it happen, and you gotta have experience. Let the experience happen. That's the best way to. It's a process. Like, oh, listen, I taught you this, but you're not gonna get it overnight. You're eventually gonna come, but let it happen. Enjoy the process of it. You got it. This is the only way, you know, that to get stuff orders. And honestly, you're a prime example. You did.
Oh well.
You know, like you did. No, I'm seriously, man. You did, man. You understand that years of doing this, a lot of people, you know, they say they want to train with me and do all this stuff, and they don't. They can't because you tell them something and they shut down. They walk, man. Okay, well, you don't want to, but you did it, man. You know, and that's a big step. If a lot of people have that courage, or at least have that patience to do that, we'll be in a whole different world today.
Ooh, yeah. That's, I think, one of the reasons why, like I said, I wanted to have you on is, you know, touch all areas. But, you know, this particular, you know, I just feel like people in our business, the type of thing that we do, essentially, you know, we're in the public, right?
Yeah. So
we are literally type of individuals where we're like soldiers on the ground. We're like really, I could say, yeah, we're in the streets, like as a way of saying it. But what I'm saying is, when I say like we're really in the streets, like we're really with like people, like every day, regular people. You know, we're not one of these guys that like at the top and we're so distant from like regular people. Like we are with like people who actually make shit happens. Like blue collar, whatever, blue collar, just, you know, we're really on the ground.
Yeah.
As we're moving with our lives and as we're elevating our careers, we're still at the ground level. Like in terms of because you teach, you know, I do comedy. I'm literally looking at someone right there. It's a very personal thing. Jiu-jitsu is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
Probably the most intimate martial art out of all.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're really close.
Really close.
And you have to absorb, you know, the energy, sweat, you know, emotional energy, all that shit. Same thing with comedy. We have to do that. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of people now, man. I'm just seeing you could see like in their eyes, they don't have they give up. You can see in their eyes, like, and it's probably due to a lot of things that's happening with all this shit that we're dealing with, COVID. You know, fucking politics and the politics of the COVID and the racism and the police brutality and everything. Everyone's like getting all this shit, and I'm just walking with, and I'm really looking at people, man, and a lot of people are just zoned out. Their focus is just not there, man, and I don't know where it's gonna go. I do know, I feel like the only thing I do know is that the ones who have built themselves and know themselves and are solid in their convictions and they're trying, they're going to be okay. But the ones who are not, they're going to have a hard time coming up.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. I think because we live in I hate to say it, a self culture. You know, where everything is like, oh no, you know, let me calm you down, let me talk to you. Oh no, shut down. It's go the opposite way. It's not really to deal with your trauma. I think in times to come when stuff gets hard, because we come into hard times. Right? I don't care. We definitely come into hard times. It's just the way the things are.
Yeah.
But when that happens, you're gonna see a lot of people that are not gonna be able to handle it. You're going to see a lot of stuff uprising, downrisings. You're going to see a lot of people shutting down. You're going to see the stuff because they don't want to deal with. They want to live in this so-called perfect world, and forget we don't live in a perfect world. They want a perfect atmosphere where it's not like that. You have to deal with life. Everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
This is the way it is. But you got to be able to, it's necessary that because it's not perfect that, you know, it's just not perfect. You still have to deal with it. People don't want to deal with the imperfection. Right.
You can't live in a perfect world, Doomsday, but you can make it perfect for you.
Thank you. Yes, and that's what people have to understand. They have to be themselves to make it perfect for you. The circumstances is not always perfect, but you gotta make it perfect for you. You know, I used to do this. Like other people are like back in the day, like the 1960s stuff. There was mass stuff that used to go down. People, the injustice of civil rights, women, and all that stuff. But they got through. They made them stronger. It made them harder. They dealt with the times. They got through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we come into times where it definitely wasn't as hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay. But that being said, they come to times when the stuff gets difficult. Okay, you gotta deal with, right? And we're in better times than in any other time, I think, in the world. You know,
Yeah.
not perfect times. Yeah, there's still hard times here and there,
Yeah.
but hard times are good for you. They're meant to you to get the build character, to build yourself, to get through the struggle and stuff. Okay, and you have to deal with that because everything's not gonna be perfect. But you want to know when adversity comes that you can deal with it and get through it.
And get through it. Yeah. Yeah. I think, like you said, the strong survive, right?
The strong survive.
And when they say strong, we're saying strong. Mentally and physically. Those two have to go hand in hand.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who are mentally strong, but like physically, it's not there.
It's not there.
I really feel like you have to have both components balanced.
Yes,
right?
I believe it's to be a good balance to get through life from mentally strong. And when I say and when he says mentally and physically, guys, it doesn't mean you gotta be the strong person or the super smart person. It's not even about that. Even the smallest people are not really mentally strong, and not the strongest people are not the physically strongest.
Yeah.
What I mean is, it's strong of getting through it or getting endurance when something gets hard to keep going. Okay,
Yeah.
and that either way, mentally and physically, when something's physically not doing right, you have to have the endurance to get through it. To not necessarily even that you don't have to be stronger than the situation, but you have to be strong enough to survive the situation. Same thing with mentally. You can be the smartest person in the world, but there's might be something emotionally or dragging that may going on. You can be the smallest person in the world, but you still have to have the mental strength to get through it.
Yeah.
That's what he means by that.
And if you guys are having a hard time getting through these things, come to Doomsday Jiu Jitsu.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that real quickly too. And so obviously, starting your own, you have a lot of. Listen, your brand is very interesting to me because I feel like it can go a lot of different ways for you. You put me in a movie last year with my, semi. I wasn't in like total awesome shape, but I was good enough to like, make myself not make you look like an asshole. Like I just don't make look like Doomsday look like he made a mistake here.
I love it.
Put my I was like, hey, just you don't need the whole full picture with me. You could just put my head in there, like we'll make it like that. But I see yourself a lot of good things for you, because I just the brand of Doomsday can go so much, and I think we talked about this before, but. Jiu-jitsu's, jiu-jitsu. I know you're in that building a school, in that, and that's in itself a lot of time and effort as well. And on top of that, fighting, training. Just it's hard to kind of put things in perspective of everyone says what do you want in the future, what would you like to do. I know sometimes I feel like that question is a little unfair because people don't necessarily know. They kind of just go. They're just doing it, and they just wherever it goes, it goes. You just gotta follow that energy, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure you thought about it. Ultimately, what would you like? Have you thought about it? What would you like to kind of? What's the finite point of Doomsday?
My final point is I definitely still want to do movies, a little stunt work. Maybe I'll get a role, a cameo, or maybe get a head role or something like that.
I'll call Ben Affleck.
Right, word.
He's been slacking.
Right, he has. We still love you, Ben. Though.
We still love Ben. Come on, Ben. Hey, we got a couple guys over here.
Hey, we love you, wicked kid. But no, my end game, honestly, is to train franchise schools. Around the country. I have an idea. I don't want to put my idea too much on it because I don't want nobody to copy it.
Yeah, of course.
But I have a good idea, and if this idea is executed right, there's gonna be a situation where I gotta have a school if not every part of the state of the country, every other state of the country, affordable, easy, and to build confidence and to show what you can do. See, what a lot of people don't understand is they think being this fighter or being the person I am, you have to do all these attributes. No, it's like, no, you just need to show up. You need to show up and see what happens. You need to take that faith and jump and see where it goes. And wherever it goes, we guide you to it. And if you like it, okay, cool. If you don't, whatever. But at least try it.
Gotta try.
Okay, and that's what it is. I want people to try. And what people don't really know is they see something, and especially they say it to me. I hate when people say this. They see something, I'll do something, I can't do that. And I'll look at them like, you can do that.
Oh my God, dude. You just...
Like every single
like
time, everybody
doesn't that aggravate you?
Yeah,
it gets me so like it. You know what it is? What aggravates me? It aggravates me more than them.
Yeah, same here.
I'm mad at them that I'm more aggravated that they're not aggravated. So now I'm stressed because they don't believe in themselves.
Exactly.
It's a different thing.
It's weird. It's like not weird, but it's like wow. But what I want to do is I want to be able to be that person to show them like, no, you can do it. Let me show you what you're capable of. I mean, a perfect example. Shout out to John Snyder, but I'm gonna talk a little trash about you. So I used to do this thing in the gym for years. Like I'll go and I do a one handball push up. If you look on my IG, you'll see it. Like all that. So I used to do it. I used to do it as one of my workouts and everything. So John looks at me and was like, man, I wish I could do that. I'm like, you can. He says to me, I can't do that. And I give him this look. I'm like mad at him. I'm like, you can't do what? I can't do that. I said, all right, let's do a little challenge.
Okay.
I said, train with me for about 6 months. Give me 6 months of training. I guarantee you in 6 months you'll be doing this. He was like, for real? He's like, you want to put the bet in? I was like, let's bet. Even better.
Okay.
I forgot what the bet was.
Put the money away about this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
That's what men do. Hey,
yep.
Hey, you want to bet?
You want to bet? You want to? All right. He was like, all right. So put him on. So all right, give me 6 months. So we're training. I'm doing little exercises and everything. He was like, he used to roll his eyes. Like, I don't see how this helps. I was like, you don't worry about it. I got this. You're gonna do this. But just trust me. Trust me. It took him 5 months. Honestly, it didn't take him 6. It took him 5 months. So one day I was like, guess what today is? He's like, what? You're doing one handball push-up. Dude, I can't do that. No. I trained you. I seen your progress. I was like, matter of fact, now I see your progress. I have the videos and everything. I have documentation, what you can do, can't do. And I build you up to this moment. You're gonna do 5 hand push-ups, one hand. All right, Doomsday, all right. Sit here. I'm like, do this, go. 1. His face. I was like, nope, don't get excited. 2, 3. I wanted 3. He did 5.
Wow.
He got up in tears like, I did a one handball push-up. I was like, told you could do it. Just like I did it, right? Yeah. Don't ever tell me you can't do something like that.
Oh, yeah, don't tell me either.
Don't tell me no dumb shit like that, man. Like, no, like it seems like you can do it, but no, you can. And I want to show people like something like that you think is impossible. So it's like, no. I want to show them, no, you can do it. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. That's the one thing people in this generation understand. They want instant gratification. No, you're not going to instantly do it. You see it one day. Oh, okay, I want to do it tomorrow. That's just not happening. It doesn't even happen for me. Okay?
Right.
That being said, but if you really want to do it and you're willing to put the time and effort and trust me to do it, I can have a situation, I could train you, and one day you will do it.
Yeah.
It might take time. Sometimes my people might take 6 months, man. It'll take a year. Might take 2 years. But if you're willing to have the discipline and the patience to trust me to do it, I could get you there. And then once you're there, and like, oh, now he does it. And I laugh at him. I'm like, remember you couldn't do this?
Now he doesn't even. Yeah. Now he walks with that confidence now, and it's on him. If he wants to do it or not.
Yep.
But he knows he did it.
Yep.
So, but he can,
But now he could do it, and then from there he carried it on, and I just walked away. Like, all right, well, now you do the exercise. Now what happens? As much as you want to do exercise, it's up to you. You could do it now.
Yeah.
Now if you maintain it, that's on you. I'm not gonna force you to maintain it. I just want to prove you could do it. It took me 6 months. I'm done.
You're done. There is something I do have to say about the way you train us is a little different than other places that I've noticed, that I've witnessed, and there is a different. It is different.
It's definitely different.
it's different.
It's different.
It's different. And I know you pick specific and certain individuals that you train. If Doomsday had probably, in another like world, I'm sure people are coming to, hey man, you could open up a school and then have all these people and have a flood line of all these things. And I feel like you're a type of individual like, no. I'm more focused on people who want to be here.
Yeah.
And the way I train and the type of men is maybe I'm speaking out of terms. I'm going to ask you this. So when you go into the process of choosing certain students and people to spend time, obviously we talked a lot about it before, they have to have the commitment and they have to show up and all that. But what is what's the thing there where you're just like, okay, I need to just, what's the thing that's like, okay, I'm picking him. I need to do, like, what is it? Is it just like at face value when you first meet them? It's just kind of like you can feel it, or you just
no. It's the belief in me. It's like when I mean the belief in me, when I could tell you, hey, listen, when I could look in your face and say, I'm gonna make you do one ball push up. You could tell me, I don't think I can, and this, and then I say to you, do you trust me? Do you trust me? Yes. Okay. Do you trust me that I can make it? That I could train you to do something crazy? Just trust me.
Yeah.
Just trust me. If you trust me, okay, I don't care how denied you are. I don't care what you think. I don't care what your body says to you. I forget all that. I just need you to trust me. If you trust me and get on my bus, let me do what I'm doing.
That's what you said to me.
Yep. I need you to trust me. You trust me? Yeah. Okay, then if you trust me, follow my way, follow what I do, and I'll get you what you want to be. Just trust me. Right? What it is most people who come in say they don't want to do it, but they don't trust you enough to let you develop them to do it.
It's like trust. It's like trust. I trusted with conditions.
Exactly.
It's like in a relationship.
It's a relationship, and I can't do that. What it's like, no, I was like, listen, you can't have conditions with me. If I'm your master, you're not. You're not gonna have you questioning all the time. I don't do that. I don't do that new age master stuff. I'm an old school master. You trust me? Yes. Then follow me.
Follow you.
But if you don't trust me, I cannot help you.
That's pretty simple, right?
That's it. Just trust me. But if you don't trust me, and the way it is, you see the students come and go, they don't trust me. They don't trust me. And it is, I give them results. They still don't trust me. I'm like, okay, well, that's your problem. That's a you problem. There's nothing I could do. I told you to trust me.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't trust me, then I can't do it. But if you trust me, and I'm like, I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to show you the light, and I'm going to show you the way.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's the trust. It's the conversation and the interaction. That's why I have to pick my students. But if my students don't trust me, no, then I can't. If you won't trust me, I can't trust to train you. I just can't. That's my natural instinct. Because what it is, you have to have this elite 100%. Because you can't be like question someone. And then because the one day, especially in a situation where I show you something you can never do and you did it before, and I look at you and then you trust me, then yes. Then go from there. What happens with me, some of my students, and why students don't last with me sometimes, is like I make them do something. I show them something they can do before. I make them do it.
Yeah.
You couldn't do this before. You're doing it. Yeah. But they say shit. I could do this, but I can't do that. I'm like, I understand that. The steps to this, but you have to trust me.
Yeah.
And they hesitate. When you give me that hesitation, especially on proving something to you and that you could do something already you could do before, and you still don't trust me, then I can't mess with you. I can't train you. Because I could tell you, listen, you're doing something you never did before. Trust me now. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's trust. You have the same trust that I have in you, that I could do it to you. You have to have the exact same trust that I would do it. You don't have to believe in yourself. You could have that. You could have the attitude towards me. Okay, I trust you, but I don't think you can make me do it. Okay, trust me. Just follow me.
Yeah.
You don't need to believe in yourself. You don't have to believe you could even do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just need you to trust me. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I know what your human body is capable of. You don't know because I feel people are ignorant to it because they don't have their eyes open. I've been there. I know what you could do, and then when they trust me, then that's all I needed. And because you trust me, that's why you have accolades.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I know myself, and I know that, I know how my body is. So I can tell you in good faith that I certainly trust you all the time when we walk in places because I know the fact that if anyone was to fuck with me, I walk with that trust. That's a trust I have right now.
Yeah.
Like, and then as I increase my whatever the heck I'm trying to do over here with jiu-jitsu,
I love it, man.
yeah, but all these things are fantastic because I think people just need to get. I think it's a little bit of motivation. Well, motivation, right? Because it's hard to. You got to be able to self motivate yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You can have people in your life to be like, hey, let's go. But like you said, it all comes down to you. At the end of the day, you got to get up. You got to set your alarm. You got to work out. You got to show up. It's on you. At the end, total accountability, not partial. Total. It comes with life. It comes with working out. Comes with your personal life, relationships. These people. They take. Yeah, but she did this. That's why I did that. It's like I get that, but that's at the end of the day, it comes down to you.
Yeah, you have to be accountable for you. You have to don't justify what stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah, we call that deflection.
Yeah,
deflection is a killer.
Yep, it is.
It's a killer. It's a killer in all aspects of life.
Oh yeah.
At any like whatever subject matter you're talking about, in my opinion, deflection is like it's cancer. Because it's a cancer. Because cancer doesn't come right like out of the blue. It grows, right? So if you don't nip it in the bud and take accountability fully in the beginning, once you identify the problem, it starts to grow. If you start to deflect, then you deflect more. Then you deflect more. And just like Chata Jiu-Jitsu or any type of person who masters anything over time because they did it consistently, there's people who are masters of deflection.
Yep.
And then they get to a point where they get to a place where they can't come back from.
Yep.
So I feel like you got to identify it. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask when you need help. Everybody wants to do things themselves. Sometimes you can't.
No, agreed.
You just can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's why I tell, and that's exactly how I tell people that you broke it down even better. Yeah. You can't be scared. You can't be scared. It's okay to be. You have to be okay to be uncomfortable. You have to be okay to be scared. It's 100% okay. Listen, I see myself as a badass mofo around these parts, and I still get uncomfortable. I still get scared. I'm not this high roll, different cocky.
You're actually
dude.
pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Outside from the fact, I had a friend. There was a friend that we had a friend that we went to a comedy show. We actually we ended up going to Godfrey's show.
Yep.
Not too long ago. Shout out to Godfrey.
Godfrey.
I was like, yo, come down. Come down, just have laughs and just kick it, whatever. And my friend who I was with, I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah. I said hi, but he was like very quiet. Like I thought, I was like, yeah. He's actually quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet.
He's actually reserved. He's like, he looks like he's like ready to rock and roll at any time. He is, but but in the grand scheme of things, you walk with us. You're fucking. I feel like you just you walk with a sense of serenity, calmness, because it could be A. Now you can answer this question. It could be A. You reach the point and build yourself up to get to that serenity, or B, you're like, man, I gotta make sure I'm calm because any of these regular motherfuckers, I could snap them in half. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's another thing I want to talk quickly before we let you go. How do you walk as a fighter knowing that probably in the room you're probably the toughest motherfucker, but you gotta like control yourself and not smack a mother? I'm sorry, this is getting a little left on the podcast, but I need to know this. Like, how do you build up that self control where you're the toughest guy in the room, hands down? That's it. If I'm bringing you to a house party, you're the toughest guy in the room, for the most part, right? I will put all my money on it. And you're a second-degree black belt, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
God, Jesus, just me saying that gives me anxiety. How do you? When someone says, "Yeah, I'm like, oh shit." You know what I told someone the other day? Because there's a guy at my job, he did jiu-jitsu too, and he was like, "Hey, so what belt you're in?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." He asked me what belt, and I'm like, I'm a brown belt. And he's like, oh, really? You're a brown belt? And I was like, no, don't get ahead of yourself. When I meant brown belt, I mean by the color of my skin.
I love it.
I'm a brown belt because being under the skin, I know a lot of shit. But I told him the exact belt I'm in. But real quickly, how do you just kind of get to that place where you know you can really, if they were to do something to you, you could probably hurt them really bad. What do you get to that? How do you get to that? Like that you just gotta. I guess fighters have to work on that psyche. Is it everyday process?
Yeah, I can say that everyday process, but more notice. It's like it's the same responsibility of a cop carrying a gun, of anybody carrying a gun. It's the same responsibility. Like I when I walk into the place, I know 100% I'm a fucking gun. Yeah. Anywhere I point and shoot, I'm killing. But because of that, I gotta have that discipline, and I necessarily don't want to be showing my gun.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I
walk like water, Bruce Lee, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have like my mindset when it comes to that, to know how dangerous I am. It's just like I'm humble because I'd rather be dangerous and never have to use it versus being not dangerous and then be in a situation where I have to use it and I can't and I don't know what to do and I'm getting fucked up. So that's what it is. It's like having that it's a
great power in that. Yeah, right.
That's what it is. It's like I don't even want to say gun. I feel like a shotgun double barrel with like I could just let off shots and destroy it. Like I do feel that way, but no, I feel this responsibility, as I am, and I really don't want to. I don't want to show that. But believe it or not, the reason why I'm quiet too is because when people see me, they see this dangerous like. The way I've been called so many things. Sure. This dangerous animal, this dangerous person, this dangerous man, most dangerous, all kinds of stuff. But they don't understand. It's like, listen, I'm no different when a cop comes in and walks in the room with a gun. What's the difference? It's like, what it is like you instantly give him respect, but it's just literally his fucking job. It's his job. Like no real cop, my opinion, okay, wants to use his gun in a freaking room full of people. No. Because all that is creates disaster. Now, if he hasn't used his gun in front of people if he attacked, 100%, okay, cool. But if you don't have to have, no one was supposed to. As a matter of fact, when you do the police work, when you do watch police work, the last resort is to pull your gun. That's why you have all those mace, this, that. The last resort is supposed to be your gun. Same here. You know what I'm saying? And then when I walk in the room, wow, you're a dangerous man. You're this and this. Yeah, that's my job. Yeah. That's what I do for a living.
I get paid to
I get paid to do this. Yep. It's professional. Like people understand like what happens in a street fight. I tell people, listen, if I have to defend myself, But no, I'm the first one to tell security. Good, you telling? Yeah, I'm telling. Let me tell you something. How crazy this is. I had a friend who had a roommate. They had a falling out, so we had to go pick up their stuff from the house. Now the roommate, we're from the neighborhood, might get gutted.
We're from around the way.
We're from around the way, you know what I mean? So they call me like, yo, I want you to do this in case. I'm like, listen, if I come there, we're calling the cops and we're doing this properly. Like, you serious? But you don't need the cops. It doesn't matter. So we're going to do this properly. There's no need to flex or be everything because all I could do is you might put me in a forced situation that maybe they're so scared that they feel they have to defend themselves and then have to do something stupid because of their stupid pity of fear of me being here. Yeah. So what happens is we call the cops. I say, call the cops, tell them the situation. I'll come help you move you out, and that's it.
Know your limit.
Know your limit. Yep. So we did. We called the cops.
I don't have that luxury, man. Yeah, especially when it comes to marshmallow fluff.
Yeah. Right. But check this out. So we called the cops. Right. Don't forget it. Call the cops. I show up. Okay. And they're talking. They're like, "Hey, listen. This is why we're here." The cop sees me. He was like, "I'm sorry. No, not to be weird, but are you John Howard?" "Yes, sir, I am." So 2 more cruisers shows up. Right. Okay. So now the roommates start to get a little altercation. The cops are there to make a peace and everything. So I'm just I don't want to argue and everything. Let's get the stuff out. So the cops say something funny. They're like, I don't know why you called us. You got a UFC fighter here. Okay? And I said, the cop said, that's exactly why I want you here, because that right there.
Because that
mentality.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm here, because they think that I'm supposed to be this tough guy who can hear everything, to shut stuff down. I was like, I don't want that. I don't want to put my skills to a situation. No, I have to be in there.
Yeah.
Do one properly. I want to avoid that.
Yeah.
Okay?
At any cost.
At any cost. To the point where, like, the roommate that was mad started to get in an argument. Okay? And the cop was like, shoved them back in the house. Like, you need to calm down. Like, who the hell are you getting loud with? You know what that is?
Right.
Right? And I told the cop, see, this is why I want you here.
This is why I want you here.
This is why I want to hear. And that's what I mean. Like, so I don't, like, that's the way I try to live my life, where, yes, I am who I am, everything, and I live my way because of the way I choose, but also when I go outside and have to live life and be in front of people, you know, I kind of want to be the person, hey, listen, I'm no different than cop. I don't want to use anything that I'm keeping off. Yes, I have attributes. I can do this. I can do that. I can snap a bat. I can do this, that. That's great. But I have no attention to person like that. I have a responsibility for my skill. But if I have a responsibility for my skill, I want you to respect my responsibility and understand that because I have a responsibility, I will not apply it to you. But also in the same sense, please don't put me in a position where I feel I have to fucking use my skill, because I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I look at people, listen, I really don't want to have to do what I can do to you. I was like, and don't process that. But I'll say this all the time, and I'm saying it in the nicest way. If you put me in a situation where I do have to use my skill, there's no ref here to stop me. So
yeah,
let's not do that. Let's avoid that.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Because when I'm put in a situation, right, I tell people, listen, the stand your ground law applies to me too.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I tell them, I'm allowed to stand my ground. As long as you're not aggressive. As soon as you turn away, I turn away. But if I'm trying to walk away, you get aggressive to me, I will use the full law of the stand the ground law.
Yeah.
Right? Because I am contagious. I'm looked at as a dangerous weapon. But until you don't have to do that, no need.
This is what you can do if anything was to happen. You can call me, and I'll come down.
Love it.
And I will just give him a nice, big ass hug.
I love it.
Just like now. You're my man.
You're mine, man.
Thank
you, man. Thank you for this, man. This was
thank you,
awesome,
Professor.
Man.
I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you
for everything. Like, truly, thank you for everything.
You're very welcome, man. I'm glad you trust me, man. I'm glad. I'm very glad, man. And I hope.
I don't trust many people.
No, you don't.
But I
don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But no, I just hope, man. You know, I really feel. I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm gonna be a world champion.
That's right.
You know, I'm stubborn. I'm gonna get a belt. Hopefully, more like the way it's looking. Eagle FC.
January 28th. Yeah, let's do the plugs now.
That's gonna be the first guy I got to deal with him. I'm not looking past him, so I got to deal with that. But if everything goes well with that, I'll be looking for a title shot. You know. And
I want to promote this. So January 28th. Can they subscribe? Where can they see the fight?
So if you go to Eagle FC. Either Instagram.com, just Eagle FC, top of the Google, they have a link where you can watch it. I can't pronounce what the link is called because I'm not Russian.
Right. Yep.
But there is a link that you can watch the fight. It will be on live. It will be streamed. And I believe it's free. So yeah, actually it is for free. Yeah. So you can watch it. And honestly, it might hit the airways too. I don't know the channel yet, but yeah, if you could check it out, please check it out. It's gonna be a great night. Promise you that.
Yeah, a lot of good people on the card, right? A lot
of good people. I'm on the main card. There's a lot of names on there.
That's what we like, baby.
I can't announce the names because I'm not in a position to.
I got you.
Right, but that being said, for everybody who wants to know, I will be on there. I'm fighting a guy named Margananov. They're all named Margananov, some Russian. He's pretty good. Yeah, I know. They're all Margananov. But, you know.
all those Organanov. I'm saying this respectively, too. Yeah. Like, I'm saying, like, and, you know, and they have also, we will probably talk about after the fight, but these type of individuals that come from that type part of the world, the way they train, a little different. Wrestling is a little different, right? Pressure's a little different.
Yep.
So I'm very interested and very confident in this fight that you're coming up with.
Thank you.
You're gonna do well.
I am too, man. This is and what people understand. This is not my first time fighting a Russian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right? It's not my first time. Like I fought a guy who who was undefeated in the UFC, and I fought in the PFL, and I'm the only guy to choke him out. So
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah, they forget you're a Brazilian black belt.
Yeah.
like, second, third degree. Like, yeah, because people always. I feel like people. I mean, because are you typically categorized as like when they, I'm very gullible to the fighting world, but when they list your the style that you are, what they list you as a striker?
As a striker. They list me as a striker who can grapple, but who prefers to strike.
When someone says can grapple,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. You're a freaking black belt. There's no such thing as can. He can.
Yeah,
like
it's second degree. He's legit.
Yeah.
No, that's the way they categorize it. But I love it because it keeps them guessing. It keeps them guessing. I can either knock you or submit you. It doesn't matter. So
all around.
You gotta come prepared, and you have to come with my strategy is because I'm definitely gonna say what my strategy is. My strategy is to fight and fight hard. Yeah. And every toolbox I can use, I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use 100%, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely see you from the previous fights. You got like this. You have this. If you don't know Doomsday, there's a certain level of focus that you can tell. A certain level of like you're ready. You're ready, and I'm very happy that you're back in the mix. And because this is your third fight in like. In like 6-7 months.
Yeah.
So you're in it. Like
I'm in it. Yep. I'm back in it, and I plan to make statements, and I want to show not only.
What's his name? Just won the championship at 42 years old.
Oh yeah, I can't know his name, but yeah, he did. 42 years old. 42 years old. He won the championship. I tell people all the time.
205. Yeah. And that's another thing before we leave. I just want to kind of touch on this before we leave. Yep. With the for a veteran like yourself, are you seeing because what I'm seeing when I watch other fights and stuff like that, who are able to stick around as long as you are, because you got to be healthy and lucky. And you got to be really good just to be around this long and to still be offered fights.
100%.
Yeah, people I think start to forget that. Yeah, I think. So with that being said, are you seeing? Is it a good confidence booster? Not even so much confidence booster, but something to look at and look up to. Something where you're seeing a lot of veteran guys starting to really make dents. Like they're still around and they're winning now, and they're coming back. Another resurgence of winning a title, being in the mix. Like you got the guy who I forget his name, but the 205 who just won him. You got like guys like veteran guys who's been around with you. Mm-hmm. They're still at it. They're winning. The experience is showing. Like but what do you say to that?
I love it. I've been saying it for years. I said because there's two different generations of fighting, and because there's two different generations, you get the new generation, you get the older generation. The older generation are more gritty and more hard. The newer generation, then I don't think they're as gritty as hard. They're more athletes, versus the old school. The old school are more fighters versus athlete. Yeah. So the new age are more athletes than fighters second. The old generation are fighters and athletes second. That's the way we look at each other, and because you see that, and because we grind different and we hurt different. I think that plays a good play, and that is the generational gap where, I've been in fights, lost teeth, split my tooth up, kept going.
Sure.
Right. I'm not sure if you could do that now. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
I don't know how many new age kids are willing to lose teeth, and spit the and keep going. When I remember when I was in the UFC, I remember guys used to get punched so hard. Take their mouthpiece out 2 or 3 teeth and just shrug the shoulder all right, well, let's go to the dentist. Versus where kids get hit like that now, they don't like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference, and because of that difference, I think a lot of timers, especially my age, is going to be around actually for a long time. I think I'm going to be along in the sport for a long time because of the age gap. Because they're more focused on being an athlete versus a fighter. Right, with these younger generations, I said, when you have a guy who can still hang with your athleticism and still be an athlete, which I can, I'm not gonna say my numbers going up, but I'm putting legit numbers up. I'm putting NFL numbers up, right? And anybody knows that, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm putting those type of numbers up, right? And I still say I'm an athlete second, fighter first.
Sure.
you know, and because I can hang.
I'm an eater first, Laughley second.
Exactly. So like, so because I can hang on that level and stick with them on the numbers.
Yeah.
Me being a fighter gives me an edge because all I need to do is hang with y'all. I need to be able to run the same thing y'all could do the same numbers y'all could do. But when it comes to fighting, because I can get greedy, I'm like, oh no, I could take the punishment and give it back and give it like a little 10 times harder.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind going in a fight losing the teeth. I don't mind going to a fight getting an arm broke. I don't mind that. I've been through that. I've been in fights where I got faces broken, hands broken, and everything, and kept fighting. You know, I don't know if these kids can have that. I remember one time when
just another day at the office for me.
That's
Doomsday.
You know, it's exactly the way I see it.
Yeah.
So because I have that gritty, and I think it's gonna be a fortunate thing. Honestly, not unfortunate. I think that's the reason why I'm gonna be the world champion because I'm gritty.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I think that's the reason why Randy Couture did it.
People have done it, man.
And people have done it. Randy Couture did it in the old school time, and look, he beat. I was there when he fought Vitor Belfort. And he beat him. People did not give him a chance. He beat the hell out of Vitor.
Yeah, beat him.
Yeah. He came hard at Randy. Mm-hmm. Randy had good strategies, stuck him out some up. Vitor gassed a little bit. It wasn't working. And Randy just beat him. And people forget, Randy Couture beat him twice.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. The second, so it was a three triad fight. The first time they fought, Randy won. The second fight, Vitor won because Vitor cut him. So when he cut him, it was because of the cut, he couldn't continue. They gave him the belt. Then what happened is he came back to fight Vitor. Okay.
Yeah.
He beat the living crap out of Vitor for the first round. That second round, Vitor quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. The different gaps. Right. That's what I mean. That syndrome with Vitor. I never forget. I watched that fight live. And Vitor would look across the cage after the first round and saw Randy, and whatever trauma Randy put in that kid's head, it was still there. He quit a championship fight. I never forget, like, you quit on a championship fight.
Well, like you said,
wow.
Like you said, in the beginning, sometimes doesn't matter, doesn't matter where you are. Whether it's a regular, just a regular exhibition fight, or whether it's a title contender fight, or if you are the title fight, mind blocks happen.
Yep.
And it happens at a very, who knows? You're fighting in front of thousands of fans. Pressure. This is what I'm saying. This thing is this thing that we do, right? People, the amount of pressure that we have, like people, I don't think people really grasp.
No, they don't get it because they're the part of the audience versus not being. People understand when you sit to attention, it's totally different. They don't get it. They say, I'll do this, I'll do that. It's hard. I mean, props to you being comedy. I people don't know. I did a comedy show a long time ago. I wanted to tried it out. And I bombed.
I was there.
Yeah, I bombed. Yeah,
was I there?
Yeah, you was there.
I was there, right?
Yeah, you was there.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I didn't really hear it.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad you didn't hear it because I bombed.
Because at first I didn't know it was you.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's bombing. Like, who's this guy? Yep. Like, but I didn't know it was you.
Yeah, it was me.
Because I came later.
Yep.
And I was like, who's this guy bombing? And then after, when the lights came on, I was like, is that?
Yep.
Dude, I was like, oh.
That was me.
Was that the time that we met with the group? Sublime.
Sublime, yeah, bro.
Dirty Heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
I bombed. But I told people the reason I wanted to do it because I wanted to experience that fear. That's I probably knew I was going to bomb.
Yeah.
But I wanted to experience it. I said, people were making fun of me. I was like, no, you don't understand. Listen, bombing like that, it's like losing a fight. The only thing you do is come back from it. But it's just from that experience. Yeah. You have to know that experience. You have to know that attention, right? And what people understand is like, when I bomb, people's like, how do you feel? I was like, well, I didn't feel that's so much uncomfortable. I didn't, not really. Like, why? I was like, because I got knocked out in front of 5 million people before. That was worse. Getting knocked out in front of 5 million people versus bombing
30 people.
30. That's you could get. I literally got over that night. I bombed, looked around. Yeah. Took a few pictures. I just wanted to have a few drinks. I was over it. Yeah. I got knocked out. That took me like 2-3 months to get over. Like, oh my god, I got knocked out on national TV. Oh my goodness. But I just want to have that experience, and
jumping out.
Yeah. And the one thing I appreciate that is it was just a good experience to have, even though it didn't go it wasn't like this great thing supposedly, but it doesn't matter. It was that experience, and that's what I mean. I went off my comfort zone, tried it, see what happened, and I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think this whole thing that we are doing, and this whole thing that we're becoming, or whatever it is, it all starts with this particular route, and that's just jumping out of your comfort zone and putting and really testing yourself. And listen, you were a big part of my, I'm not trying to be, some like hug a tree type of dude. I'm not saying I am, but I'm more spiritually present now than I was before. Nice. I was always pretty present. I had a strong presentness to me, but starting to work on myself physically has helped me mentally. Losing the weight. I was 268 pounds, 270 pounds when I walked into your gym. I'm 209 pounds right now.
Yeah.
And that's, I come when,
Yep.
So I'm not saying this to just be one of these people who are just fucking coming on podcasts and talking about like this thing to get hits and to get people to fucking. I'm not trying to be like these people. These motivational people here that just fucking like anyone's a motivational speaker and they're just telling you to do shit.
Yep.
I'm saying this because I actually did it, and there's no one can take that away from me.
Nope. I
actually went through it. I did it. I seen the evolution of what can happen if you have a little bit of faith. Or a lot of faith, consistency, accountability, and then you'll see where you can go. And I can tell you right now, you'll be a little bit more ahead than where you are. It just takes the game of life is about inches.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, taking your time out of your fight camp to be with me, and. I'm going to be with you in spirit.
Thank you.
And we're going to, we're everyone's rooting for you. Everyone does. Win or lose. We all are doomsday people.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And you've already cultivated that. So no one can take that away from you.
Thank you.
Regardless of whether win or loss, you're always the winner to us. So
thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Doomsday.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Good show, man.
I appreciate you. Guys, thank you very much. You guys can follow me always on Instagram at Chase Abel. Instagram at Chase Abel. Everything is on Instagram. I don't care about Snapchat. Stop sending me messages about Snapchat, okay? All right? Unless, there's something unless there's a Snapchat person I could pay to do Snapchat things, I don't want to do Snapchat. Everything's on Instagram. Instagram is clean. Everything's there. Please follow me at Chase Abel. You can follow Doomsday Howard.
Yep.
I mean, he has
IG.
and IG, yeah.
IG, yeah.
And then at John Doomsday Howard.
Yep, at John Doomsday Howard IG. Definitely. Yep, everything is on there. Follow me if you can, and see you soon.
Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Cut to the Chase podcast. We out. Peace.